Hello, I'm the 10-minute English teacher. Let's get you exam ready. Today we're revising for a Christmas Carol with my Stave 3 quiz. Before we get going, don't forget to like and subscribe. There are plenty of things on the channel to help you revise a Christmas Carol. Okay, my Stave 3 quiz. You can feel free to play along for fun, or if you want to make notes of your answers and add to the analysis in the second half where I give you the answers, feel free to. Question number 1. What kind of voice does the ghost of Christmas present speak in? Is it A, a grating voice? Is it B, a broken voice? Is it C, a jolly voice? Or is it D, a cheery voice? Question number 2. What kind of hand does the ghost of Christmas present have? Is it A, a sparkling hand, B, an open hand, or C, a tight-fisted hand? Question number 3. At Bob Cratchit's house, what is it that his wife and daughter decorate themselves with? Is it A, holly, B, ribbons, or is it C, mistletoe? Question number 4. The Cratchits have very little. Which item is mentioned in Stave 3 as one of their possessions? Is it A, a greatcoat? Is it B, a custard cup without a handle? Or is it C, a gravy boat without a ladle? Question number 5. What brings darkness to the Cratchits' Christmas? Is it that Tiny Tim is going to die? Is it something to do with Scrooge? Or is it that they do not have enough goose to go round when they eat their Christmas dinner? Question number 6. Before going to see Christmas being celebrated by Fred, the Christmas that he was invited to and declined to attend, where is it he is not taken? Is he not taken to a mining town? Is he not taken to a lighthouse? Is he not taken to a ship at sea? Or is he not taken to a debtor's prison? Question number 7. Fred speaks about Scrooge's money. What feeling does he express towards it? Is it A, pity, or is it B, envy? Question number 8. Which of the two children that appear from the robe should we beware the most? Is it ignorance or is it want that we should beware the very most? Question number 9. Which quote from Stave 1 is turned back on Scrooge at the end of Stave 3? Is it A, decrease the surplus population? Is it B, are there no prisons? Or is it C, why did you get married? And question number 10. What is the final moment of Stave 3? Is it Scrooge thinking about Tiny Tim? Is it the ghost of Christmas present fading away? Is it Scrooge falling to sleep before the visit of the next ghost? Or is it D, the ghost of Christmas future, the ghost of Stave 4, appears to Scrooge? Okay, those are our 10 questions to recap the key events and moments in Stave 3. Let's recap the answers. So we've got, what kind of voice does the ghost of Christmas present speak in? He speaks in a cheery voice. In Stave 1, Scrooge speaks in a grating voice. And in Stave 2, Scrooge speaks in a broken voice when he sees the vision of Belle, his old fiancée, and thinks about what he's missed out on in life. C, jolly, is a reference to the ghost of Christmas present. He is said to be a jolly giant, but he speaks in a cheery voice in contrast to Scrooge. Question number 2, what kind of hand does the ghost of Christmas present have? Well, he's got a sparkling eye, and Scrooge was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, as described in Stave 1. This ghost has an open hand to symbolise his generosity and draw a contrast to the descriptions of Scrooge in Stave 1. At Bob Cratchit's house, what is it that his wife and daughter decorate themselves with? They decorate themselves with ribbons. They are said to be brave in ribbons. This family have very little, and that's there to signify their poverty, but also their dignity. Dickens's readers would probably not have been into the home of a working poor family like the Cratchits, so it's quite clever that he takes us in there with him so that we can see just what kind of a Christmas they have, and we're meant to feel quite a lot of empathy and pity for them. They have so very little and decorate themselves with ribbons. That's an act of bravery. They are brave in ribbons. Holly and mistletoe are also mentioned in the stave in the decorations of Scrooge's house that appear when the ghost of Christmas present arrives. Question number 4. The Cratchits have very little. Which item is mentioned in Stave 3? Well, it's not a gravy boat without a ladle. It's a custard cup without a handle that they have. So they've got so very little. The idea is here that the readers would be just empathising on how very little this family have. And also, if Dickens is writing for a middle-class Victorian readership, they would have likely been able to afford lots of different things in their homes to display, and it's contrasting that the Cratchits have so very little to what the reader probably would have been able to afford. A greatcoat is mentioned in Stave 1, but Bob Cratchit does not have one. The quote from Stave 1 is, boasted no greatcoat. Bob Cratchit leaves at the end of the day at the counting house in Stave 1 to go home through the cold and cannot even afford a coat to wear in the cold. So a greatcoat is not something that Bob Cratchit owns. Question number 5. What brings darkness to the Cratchits' Christmas? Well, Tiny Tim is going to die, and it makes Bob's voice tremulous when he speaks about him. There is not really enough goose, but the family pretend there is. They eat every single morsel of it, and no one makes a comment on the small size of the bird that they have to share. It's Scrooge's name that brings darkness to the Cratchit's Christmas after Bob Cratchit suggests a toast to him. He says to the founder of the feast, and Mrs. Cratchit is very angry that Scrooge's name should be mentioned at their dinner table. The quote from Stave 3 is, "The mention of his name cast a dark shadow on the party." And again, we've got darkness being used to symbolise misery and all of the negative associations that we have with Scrooge. Question number 6. Before going to see Christmas being celebrated by Fred, where is he not taken? There's a page or two where Scrooge is taken here, there and everywhere by the ghost of Christmas present. He does go to a mining town and sees a very poor family in a cottage celebrating a happy Christmas. He goes to a lighthouse and sees people there celebrating together, and even visits a ship at sea. It's a debtor's prison that he doesn't go to, although prisons are mentioned in Stave 1 when Scrooge speaks to charity collectors. And we see a family in Stave 4 who are about to be ruined by their debt, but they're given a stay of execution because Scrooge has died. Question number 7. What feeling does Fred express towards Scrooge's money? At his Christmas party, there are lots of games being played. There's lots of fun and warmth. But it's not envy that Fred feels towards Scrooge and his wealth. It's actually pity. Fred's symbolic of the middle classes. He does actually have housekeepers and a little bit of money himself. He's quite a wealthy man in all respects. Of course, makes jokes about Scrooge's wealth. I think he's meant to be an embodiment of what Scrooge wishes his readers would become, more generous and understanding of the poor. He says that he pities Scrooge and his money. "I pity him" is the quote, because the money that Scrooge has brings him no happiness. Which of the two children that appear from the robe should we beware the most? It's the boy Ignorance that the ghost of Christmas present says that we should beware. He says, "On his brow I see that written which is doom unless the writing be erased." So Dickens is quite pathetic there, saying that if we as humanity are ignorant, it will lead to our end. Doom symbolising the end of the world. Question number 9. Which quote from Stave 1 is turned back on Scrooge at the end of Stave 3? So, decrease the surplus population is used as an ironic echo back to what Scrooge said to the charity collectors in Stave 1 when we see Tiny Tim and Scrooge is told that Tiny Tim will die. Ghost of Christmas present says that he should hurry up and do it and decrease the surplus population, which is a reference to what Scrooge said about the poor in Stave 1. "Why did you get married?" is what Scrooge says to Fred. That's not repeated ironically by this ghost, but he does say at the end, in regards to the two children that come from his robe, "Are there no prisons?" when Scrooge asks if anything can be done for them. So turn Scrooge's words back on him as he walks away from Scrooge. Question number 10. What is the final moment of Stave 3? The very final moment of Stave 3 is the ghost of Christmas future appearing. So Scrooge goes to sleep after seeing Jacob Marley's ghost and after seeing the ghost of Christmas past, but the ghost of Christmas present walks away from Scrooge and fades away. His lifetime is only one day long, and the ghost of Christmas future appears to Scrooge and comes towards him draped and hooded like a mist. So that's how Stave 3 ends, and if we understand those key moments in Stave 3 and key quotes, we are very much Stave 3 experts and exam ready. Okay, check out the other videos on my channel. I'll continue to add content. Feel free to ask something you'd like to see me cover in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and keep revising.